Up next on Eco Company,
Their stories will shock you. Marine mammals injured by our trash. These volunteers are dedicated to saving their lives.
We get a disturbingly high number of animals that have been injured by marine debris.
This team's on a mission to keep these guys happy and healthy. And who says going green can't be fashionable?
All the cottons that we use are organic cotton, so it's produced without chemicals, which is awesome because those don't end up in our water systems, in the ocean, everywhere, in our food.
We've got the scoop on some cool designs made from recycled tires, wind sails, and more.
then it's a win-win situation. It's a nonprofit kitchen that's cutting back on energy use and more, while cooking up thousands of meals.
We have a forklift, that's how much food we use. You could not unload by hand the trucks we use.
Greening up their operation and changing lives too.
Eco Company
Starts now.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning into Eco Company. I'm Jordan.
And I'm Brendan. So imagine if someone trashed your home.
That's what we're doing to the oceans when our trash ends up there. It's not a good thing for marine life.
Jalena's found a place where they nurse back injured mammals to health.
Their stories of survival are nothing short of amazing.
I'm here at the Marine Mammal Center, where animals like this are saved every single day with help from a dedicated team of volunteers. Let's go see how they do it.
Say hello to Crunchy, Nantucket, and Taylor's Day. Just a few of the patients being treated at the Marine Mammal Center in Sausalito, California.
Each one of these animals is unique, and we learn so much from them about their species and about their ocean.
The center rescues and rehabilitates sick and injured marine animals found along 600 miles of California's coast. And over the past 35 years, the numbers added up to more than 16,000 sea lions, harbor seals, and other species.
We don't get dolphins very often, but when we do, they're very difficult to care for. This was Baker D. When he came in, he was so weak and sick that he couldn't even swim on his own. We had volunteers in the pool 24 hours a day holding him up so he could breathe.
That's what we call dedication. And it worked because after about 2 months, Baker D was back home in the ocean. Marine science instructor Doreen Garola says it's just one of the many success stories here.
So how many animals can you keep here?
That'll depend on the types of animals that we have. We've had over 120 to 130 animals on site at one time.
Some, like these sea lions, are here because they're sick. Others are here because they've become victims of our trash.
We get a disturbingly high number of animals that have been injured by marine debris, usually by entanglement, sometimes by ingestion.
Whether injured or sick, they're all treated by a dedicated group of 800 volunteers.
From age 14 to 93, they're all responsible for either rescuing the animals, caring for the animals, and teaching the public.
One of these volunteers is high school student David Krusik.
So I've been volunteering here at the Marine Mammal Center for almost 2 years now.
David is by far an exemplary volunteer. He has been so enthusiastic.
The oceans connect all of us at once, and that is where the passion lies for me.
One of his jobs is to help feed the animals, and sometimes it's a bit tricky.
So with all the marine mammals here, I bet you have to have a lot of fish to feed them.
Absolutely. In the busy season, we go through 1,000 pounds a day. So this is an area that we affectionately call our fish kitchen.
David's showing me how to make a fish smoothie.
It looks like a chocolate milkshake, but it doesn't really smell like one.
Other fish get their meds this way.
It's the only way they get their meds, put it in their food.
These sea lions are being treated for 2 things. One is a common kidney virus, so they take extra care by suiting up and scrubbing down.
Well, with these guys, they're mammals just like us, and so a lot of the same diseases they get, we can get as well.
Others have what's called domoic acid intoxication, and if it sounds bad, that's because it is.
It's a neurotoxin produced by a specific type of algae that grows here off the California coast.
In low doses, the naturally occurring toxin is no problem, but too much exposure can cause brain damage.
They're not able to find food, they're confused about direction, so they may end up just swimming out in random directions and starving to death out in the middle of the open ocean.
It's something they're seeing more and more cases of.
The best theory right now is because of fertilizer runoff. There have been really, really intense and concentrated blooms over the last 10 plus years or so.
Scientists refer to them as harmful algal blooms. Some people may refer to them as red tide.
And so as a result, these animals are getting a huge amount of this toxin in the system. The current theory is that indeed we are causing these increased concentrations of the blooms of this algae, which are what makes it dangerous for these animals.
One problem out there that's man-made, no question about it, is this stuff, our trash.
This is a fishing lure, big fishing lure we took off of D-Day back in 2004. The hook was caught in his mouth.
And what's this? This was found on an animal?
Yep, that was found on an animal.
They nicknamed him Michelin. Then there's Spanish Springs.
He swallowed a plastic bag. And how frequently do you go shopping and use a plastic bag? If it doesn't get disposed of properly, it might end up in the stomach of one of these guys.
Abigail got caught in a fishing line, ducked, somehow ended up entangled in tape. And the list doesn't end here. Balloons are even a problem.
If you let go of balloons after a birthday party, they'll float out over the ocean and then pop. And then you've got these stringy bits of stretchy plastic that are just horrible for the animals to get caught in. It happens far too frequently. It's not a nice thing when you see happy birthday wrapped around an animal's neck.
So the message here is don't let your trash get into the ocean.
Exactly. If you don't dispose of your garbage or fishing equipment or any plastics properly, they'll end up in the ocean eventually, and they'll stay there for hundreds of years, and probably will end up causing the death of a few animals along the way.
The lucky ones get spotted and brought here.
These animals are amazing survivors. They will come in with, debris cut into their neck or around their flippers or somewhere entangled around their body. Our veterinarians skillfully are able to remove these different types of entanglement, and the animals have an amazing ability to heal.
In a matter of days, weeks, or a couple of months, most end up back where they belong.
Go home.
Tagged so they can be tracked.
Everybody who works up here is emotionally invested in some way, and so every time an animal is released, it's very special, and every time an animal dies, it's very, very sad.
Two very different endings to a story. One these volunteers hope will inspire others to protect marine animals, and the place they call home.
The oceans are big. What goes on in them affects every single person on the planet, and the problems we see here are just a tiny fraction of things that we're doing to harm the oceans, which in turn harms us.
So if people are aware of their actions from where their garbage goes to how they act on the beach or when they're out on the ocean, know that you can make a positive impact in this animal's life.
Okay, so are you ready to green up your wardrobe? From your clothes to bags, wallets, and even shoes. It's getting easier to go green these days and look smashing too. Some great fashionable finds next.
Green and fashion aren't always two words that go hand in hand, if you know what I mean. But Jordan shows us that these two can go together. She's on the hunt for some sustainable fashion gems.
So we hear the word sustainable fashion a lot these days. But what exactly does that mean? We've come here to find out. It's my first trip to the Green Festival in San Francisco, California. And we're here to check out eco-fashion from head to toe. It's clothing produced in an environmentally friendly way with sustainable materials. And there are a lot of ways to green up your closet. One of the biggest is by using materials like organic cotton and even soy.
The soy is a byproduct of tofu, and the organic cotton is grown without pesticides.
Organically grown means it's chemical-free.
All the cottons that we use are organic cotton, so it's produced without chemicals, which is awesome because those don't end up in our water systems, in the ocean, in our food.
What you use for screen prints and dyes matters too.
We use low-impact dyes, which basically means that you don't have the heavy metals, which, like pesticides, they would normally end up in like the rest of our world and our water systems.
Another big way to go green is to make things new again. So regenerated, what does that mean?
It means everything that I make is from post-consumer recycled material. So it's material that was once other clothing, sweaters, t-shirts. This skirt is made from several different sweaters. By reusing other clothing, there's so much clothing that gets thrown away and ends up in the landfill or gets shipped off to third world countries, which is okay, except that it takes so much fuel and thousands of gallons of water to produce the fabric.
But it's not all about the clothes on your back. A girl's gotta have accessories too. So these bags right here, what is eco-friendly about them?
So these are all made with vinyl banners from festivals in Barcelona. In the past, they were incinerating these.
These are made from recycled plastic bags and inner tubes. The plastic is cut into strips and ironed together. Wow, so this is inner tube.
Inner tube, yep.
Wow.
And they all come out a little bit different. You'll see like the texture of the different parts of inner tube. And then these are kite surf material. So if kite surfers tear it doing the sport, usually you can't repair it enough for it to be used for that sport, but it's this enormous piece of fabric with one small tear, and the rest of it is perfectly good, strong, lightweight material.
What are all these purses made out of?
Yes, they're all made out of candy wrappers, excess paper.
They're even making them using barcode and magazines.
A lot of magazines that have been read or unsold, we use those as well.
So even things as simple as our candy wrappers, we should be saving them. They can be reused and they can make a difference.
You're exactly right. Candy wrappers, magazines, newspapers.
That's not the only place you'll see candy wrappers here though. They're also being used as shoe tags. The flip-flops are made out of sustainable materials like grass, banana leaf, burlap from old coffee sacks, and more.
We go to different landfills and we gather old motorbike tires. We gather them and bring them back to our workshop where they're made into footwear soles. We repurpose them, so each tire makes 2 pairs of sandals.
It's a solution for old tires that's a lot better than the alternative.
A motorbike is the #1 mode of transportation in Indonesia, and you know, with these tires, if they're left in the landfill, they're going to be burned, releasing a lot of toxins. So we're trying to repurpose them and using them as a footwear sole.
Oh, they're comfortable too. Wow.
Yeah.
Teens can really make a difference in what they buy because they're telling consumers what we want.
Oh yeah, and teens are on it. They can say, of course I want that because it's so obvious this is what we need to do in order to turn this ship around.
It's a lesson in sustainable fashion that has definitely given us a few things to think about. So next time you go shopping, think green.
It's one of the largest freezers we've ever seen. This thing can store up to 10,000 meals and uses a whole lot of energy. Up next, how this nonprofit is reducing its carbon footprint while feeding thousands. More Eco Company is next. And now for 2 things that go hand in hand, helping people and the planet at the same time. And that's what Project Open Hand is all about. It's a place that's hustling and bustling all day long.
That doesn't begin to get at it. It's fun though, it's never a dull moment around here.
That's because here at Project Open Hand in San Francisco, volunteers are cooking up hundreds of meals a day. Today they're packing up recyclable trays filled with green beans, egg noodles, and beef stew. Plus we can't forget the burgers and all the toppings.
We have a forklift, that's how much food we use. You could not unload by hand the trucks we use, so we probably go through a tractor trailer load worth of food in any given week.
This nonprofit, founded in 1985, is doing it all to feed their clients free, healthy meals.
Project Open Hand provides meals and groceries to people with HIV, people with other critical illnesses, and to seniors.
It's important to keep things sustainable because in this senior center alone, they serve 170 meals a day. And that's a lot of food. On any given day, it all adds up to 2,600 prepared meals, either delivered to senior centers or directly to homes. That's 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And as you might imagine, it takes a lot of energy and resources to do it all.
It takes an enormous amount of energy. It takes energy in the form of electricity. It takes energy in the form of natural gas. We use a lot of water, and a lot of what we use is constant. So when we run a freezer nonstop forever.
That's why Dan Schumann and Steve Hunter are greening things up around here. Recycling and composting are a given, but they're doing a lot more than that.
We look at every aspect of what we do and we see how can we do it better. We use solar panels to create the electricity to run our freezers, to run our electrical equipment. We use solar thermal panels to generate heat, to heat our hot water for all of our cleaning purposes.
Dan Schumann's the director of operations, and he's giving us a tour of this place. No small undertaking. Take the kitchen. It's full of convection ovens, skillets, and huge kettles for things like this stew.
This is an 80-gallon kettle. So if we're going to make soup for 1,400 seniors in a day, or if we're going to make stock, this is what we have to do it in. It uses a tremendous amount of energy.
Then there's the so-called hot box. It keeps food hot off the line, warm until it heads out for delivery.
Each one of these hot cabinets uses 1,300 watts of energy, and we have 6 of them running. We probably preheat them around 8:45 in the morning, and we keep them running until afternoon.
I mean, a light bulb only uses like 50 watts.
Exactly. So it gives you an idea, and this is just one aspect of the energy consumption that goes on every day here to get meals out.
Of course, they're not just using energy for heat. They need it to cool, too. It takes 11 coolers and freezers to keep all the food, like these turkeys, stored at the right temp. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. Check this out.
It's about 31 feet long, 11 feet wide, and 8 feet tall.
So Dan, I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty freezing in here, and this is a big freezer too. How cold is it in here right now?
Right now it's about 8 degrees Fahrenheit. It gets as cold as, say, 10 below zero in here. That's why we call it a freezer. We usually provide a jacket. We forgot yours today.
It's okay, I'll brave it through.
If you look around, you can see our frozen meals here. These meals in these tan color trays are our special diet meals. At any given moment, there's as many as 10,000 frozen meals in here waiting to go out to clients.
There's another whole part of this operation too, and that's the grocery store. It's where clients can come pick up groceries once a week, and that means more of these.
This is all of the coolers we need to keep all the product fresh. The problem is glass doors make it easy to see what's in there, but they don't insulate very well. It's just yet another example of where all that energy, all that electricity is going.
A big way they're helping offset all the energy they use is on the roof.
To date, this array has produced about 110,000 kilowatt hours of electricity, and it's avoided the emission of about 164,000 pounds of CO2. I'm not about using electricity, I'm about feeding clients. And anything I can do to divert funds directly towards the purchase of food is a victory for me. Along the way, we've been upgrading our fleet.
That's where their fleet of vehicles comes in. No more gas guzzlers for them.
We can deliver 96 meals in this, and we can do it at 26 miles per gallon.
And when they need something bigger,
right here is our newest vehicle. We actually call it Big Red.
Newer, more fuel-efficient vans get much better gas mileage.
It's one of the biggest cargo vans on the road, and yet it gets 22 miles to the gallon. And it runs on diesel, so you can actually run biofuel in it.
So speaking of transportation, you've heard it's better to buy local, right? Well, they're taking that motto a step further in here, where Operation Peanut Butter is underway.
We grind our own peanut butter fresh every day.
Schumann picked up this used machine for just $1,000. They packaged some for sale, with the money going back to the nonprofit. All right, so I've kept this spoon in my pocket for a couple hours now, ready for some of this peanut butter. Can I try some?
Absolutely, we don't let anybody leave here without trying some peanut butter. This is actually hot and warm right out of the machine.
Very warm.
So while Brendan can't talk, I'll just say that Brendan's very happy right now. I can see through his eyes that he's loving the peanut butter. He's saying, this is the best peanut butter I've ever had.
So from providing nutritious food from their kitchens, to fresh produce and organic bread in the grocery store, Project Open Hand is on a mission to provide better meals to people who need them, while doing its part to produce less pollution and save resources too, something we'd call a win-win situation.
If your campus is doing something to go green,
we want to hear about it.
Grab your video camera and start rolling.
Create a video and upload it to our website at eco-company.tv.
So, want to green up your own diet?
Project Open Hands' Dan Schumann is giving us a few ideas.
And it starts with loading up on fresh fruits and veggies.
Plants, as opposed to meat, are actually much more sustainable. The amount of fossil fuel required to produce plant calories is much less than it is required to produce, say, red meat.
And buy locally whenever you can to save transportation costs. Organic is always a good idea too. That means it's grown without pesticides.
Make the switch to brown rice. It's healthier than the white stuff. And add some beans to your menu.
And don't forget your whole grains.
This is a 100% whole grain, whole wheat loaf. It's made with organic whole wheat flour, so it's about 99% organic.
They're tips that can help you eat right.
And sustainably, which is good for the planet too.
Be eco-wise and be a part of the solution.
That's it for us this week here on Eco Company. Thanks for tuning in.
For more on these stories and info on the show, head to eco-company.tv.
Or check us out on Facebook. We'll see you back here next time
on Eco Company.